The economy is doing well. We're at record low unemployment. The stock market is up for the year, and we're in the 10th straight year of economic expansion. Those are all good things. But 10th straight year means we're probably about time for a recession. That's not a crisis. It's a normal economic cycle. A recession is defined by 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline, and we are seeing signs of that coming. GDP growth is slowing. The trade wars put in place by the president has both consumers and U.S. companies nervous. Those companies are not reinvesting and spending. They're saving because they don't know what the road is ahead. And there's a number of economic indicators telling the markets, hold on, there's tougher times coming ahead. So the big question right now is, why does the president continue to say the economy is booming? It's the best ever.
I don't see a recession. I mean, the world is in a recession right now.
We're certainly not facing a crisis and a recession today, but if the president is ignoring the warning signs, things we should be preparing for, what does that mean to the American people? President Trump and his economic advisors, Larry Kudlow and Peter Navarro, said over the weekend,
I sure don't see a recession.
I can tell you with certainty is that we're going to have a strong economy through 2020 and beyond.
Yet 74% of economists surveyed said they believe by 2021 we will, in fact, tip into recession. It is worth noting that Larry Kudlow said there was no signs of a recession just days before the financial crisis of 2007. And when it comes to the trade war with China, Peter Navarro said there are absolutely no signs of the American consumer bearing any burden because of it.
$200 billion we put on a 10% tariff, and China devalues their currency by 12%. Okay? Are consumers bearing anything on that? No.
Now remember, the tariffs are like an import tax. U.S. companies have to pay that tax in order to get the goods from China, and they either absorb that or in turn they pass it on to the consumer. Peter Navarro said the consumer's not feeling it. But you know, last week when the president postponed his latest round of tariffs, he said he didn't want to hurt the Christmas season.
We're doing this for Christmas season, just in case some of the tariffs would have an impact on U.S. customers, which so far they've had virtually none.
That's the American consumer. So guess what, Peter Navarro? That's exactly how they'd be hurt. And it's not just the president. Researchers at Harvard, MIT, University of Chicago, the International Monetary Fund, and the Federal Reserve have all issued reports about the tariffs on Chinese goods hurting the American consumer. Then there's the yield curve. An inverted yield curve, and we don't have to go into the details, is a classic symbol. It's a sign that economists use as a warning that a recession could be coming. We know that yield curve inverted last week, and Peter Navarro denied it.
You're still not worried about that?
But it is flat, not for bad reasons, but for good reasons. We have the strongest economy in the world.
That's not the case. And why does that inversion matter to us? That's the kind of warning that economists are saying, slow down. And the president is saying, no reason to slow, no reason to save. The economy's still booming. Well, it's not. So while we might not be seeing a recession today, it's a warning of slower times ahead. Whether you are looking at slowing economies abroad, 9 other countries that could be facing recession, we're living in a global economy. And if you don't know what's around you, what's in front of you, well, then you could face a much tougher shock.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.